I don't know if that's going to inherently...
Cheers.
Cheers. I don't know if that's going to inherently, trigger the ASMR people, but we've been doing it for long enough that if there were any other issues...
It's a nice sound. It's a positive sound.
Exactly. It's a nice crack.
Yeah.
Who doesn't love a good crack, you know?
No. Good implications, good connotations, right?
Exactly. But no. Casual Sunday afternoon recording of Prime Ratio, where just hanging out. It was going to be a much more chaotic grouping. We had the plans for a 4-person recording, but the other 2 have been otherwise booked out.
Couldn't hack it.
That's all right. Couldn't hack it. Stuff happens. That's what Sundays are for. But no, I am host Felix. I'm joined by guest Henry.
Hello, this is Henry.
We're also competing mildly with the wind, which is rattling the door, but it's all right. It's a background noise. Henry's a lot closer to the mic than the door is, so it's all fine.
Yep.
But yeah, Henry, tell us a little about yourself, what you do, if you're comfortable talking about what you do.
Yeah. What do I do? Monday to Friday, I have a pretty boring office job, but on the fixie front, I've been writing fix gear for probably a little over 15 years now, on and off, taking breaks as everyone has, but came back into it pretty hard, maybe 2 years ago now, 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Kind of picked up with the Monday night group and got into alleycats through that as well. And yeah, been going really ham on it the last couple of years, and it's been heaps and heaps of fun.
Absolutely. It seems like, were you previously more of a solo writer? You go out and...
Yeah, I was just kind of commuting, and I was writing for fun. Lockdown was definitely a big back into it for me. I think pre that, I'd just gotten a bit sick of commuting by bike. I was a bit over it, a bit sick of getting sweaty, a bit sick of having to bring a big bag with me.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, lockdown, a lot of time at home. It was just such a good excuse to get out of the house and do some exercise that was moving around and outdoors. So I'm very lucky to be quite near the Brunswick Velodrome. So that was a big outlet.
Yeah,
I
think during lockdown, you and I we didn't know each other, but we were in more or less the same area.
Yeah.
And
thinking back,
it's a miracle we never crossed paths. But no, I was very close to the Mooney Ponds Creek Trail, pretty much on Mooney Ponds Creek, and backed onto where I was living.
Yeah, there you go.
And so I discovered a lot of spots and little paths, and I think my 5K perimeter was more or less exactly the route down Mooney Ponds Creek onto Maribyrnong River, and then out to Footscray Park.
Oh yeah,
was as far as I could get.
Your bubble.
In my bubble, and then I would keep going a little bit and then come back around, so it would be fine.
Yeah. I remember trying to work out all your bubble routes and what was the most optimal ring you could do.
Yeah. There was a website that you could just type in your address, and it would give you a 5K or a 10K or whatever bubble.
That's cool.
And it probably existed for ages, but you end up
particularly helpful when you
have limited movements. Yes. You didn't work through lockdown, did you?
I did. I was actually really, really lucky with that. I had left bartending February 2020. No, sorry. Yeah. End of 2019, and at the beginning of 2020 I started sort of my first serious full-time office job, and within 3 months we got sent home. And
it's a good start.
Yeah, I mean it's been a blow to my career, but it was also I was getting paid, and all these guys who I'd been bartending with at the time suddenly not getting paid and stuff. So I actually did really, really well through lockdown. I was very, very lucky. The timing of it was immaculate.
Perfect timing, yeah. Yeah. How has your year so far been? We've uploaded actually not even an hour ago. I uploaded the first half of an episode with Tom and Ramsey, and we've been discussing recent events and races and stuff.
Yeah.
So how have you found it?
Been a great year for me. Up and up and up. I suppose had a couple of really cool races. My bike turned 1 year old.
That's true. I saw
the
saw the Instagram post on that.
Yeah, which was quite exciting. I wasn't sure if it was going to make it.
Wasn't going to survive the year.
Been through a wheel set. Been through a crash or two.
True.
It's been dropped innumerable times.
We do have the old rim,
the trophy rim,
hanging up in the window for all to see. And there's a few customers come in and they say, "Oh, what's that rim doing there?" And I tell the whole story. It's great.
It didn't do very well.
No.
But I mean, it's sort of emblematic of like a lot of learning for me as well. You know, put that bike together, and it's always exciting when a project that you've worked on yourself and kind of done all not largely yourself, sort of keeps working. You know, that's a good feeling.
It is a nice feeling. Was that a build that you'd like, I guess, conceptualized beforehand?
Yeah, it'd been in the making for a very long time. I was just really, really sick of my old bike. Nothing particularly wrong with it, but it was just, I don't know, just a bit over it, wanted something fresh.
That was the Leader, right?
Yeah, a matte black Leader 721, which I think I bought the frame of in, like, Jesus Christ, 2009, 2010.
Goodness.
Yeah, just like been slowly upping it for a while, but yeah, sort of like spent a long time dreaming what the next bike would be and got very, very lucky with the second-hand frame. And
yeah, nice.
Yeah.
No, it's definitely an eye catcher in every respect in the group. Like, I think not that we encounter them, but I think if we were to encounter any like track purists, I mean, I do see this at like events and stuff where you see folks, you rock up. This is a full carbon bright red anchor track frame, and it's built up currently with like 80mm deep carbon wheels, zip rims, like relaced from the road spec to that, and the rear wheel is just completely full of spoke cards. So it's a nice expression of like what the community is all about. It's like riding bikes that are not necessarily designed to do what we do.
Well, that was like such a like a difficult decision with that as well. When I was like trying to put this all together, was like I really the dream for a long time was to buy a secondhand steel NJS track bike and slap that together. But it's really expensive to buy those.
It is, yes.
Like, and especially if you want to be, you're building this to be at the time was my one bike, so I wanted it to be, the right size and stuff. I didn't want to have to buy the sail frame if I could avoid it. But to do that and to be specific about what you want is spenny. And I started noticing these like pretty hectic carbon frames were popping up for a similar price, and I was like, well, shit. It is stupid. It's so over the top. It's so unnecessary. But like,
it's fun.
Fuck it, right?
Yeah,
like,
exactly. It's all that matters.
Follow your dream, kind of thing. If you like enjoy riding your bike and you love looking at it and being with it, then you get over all that kind of bullshit, right? Like,
exactly.
It can be suboptimal if you.
All it really is, like, I've had this. I've had the super flashy, standouty kind of bike, and
I was going to say, just to put this on the record, Felix does own a bike with Envy fucking rims to Mac hubs, and
I do, yes, currently, It's
not a stranger to
high spec
street
and stuff
bikes.
like that. Yeah. No, that's an indulgence for sure. Is the Envy wheels?
Yeah.
They are my what I call my summer wheels, which sounds exactly the way you think it sounds. It was a remnant of an old build that I've since sold almost everything off.
Yeah. Right.
Even the frame's gone now, so I had that, and that was like a process of like building that bike up piece by piece, and then I realized I was like, this thing is way too nice. I can't lock it up on the street. So it was the bike that I would, whenever I would ride it, I would not take a lock because I didn't want to leave it.
You don't even want to tempt yourself. Yeah.
And so there was that, and yeah, the wheels were one of those things. Like I got the rims through a backdoor industry hookup.
Yeah, I always meant to ask.
So those were got some rims that went missing like years ago. No, so I got them in exchange for some discounted bike parts from a shop that I used to work at.
Okay.
And
sick.
And so the rims were essentially free. And so I can't really sell them because I wouldn't be able to put a price on them. They're not, according to all official records, they don't exist. So I just have.
Why would you? They're
just have some
incredible wheel set, like
really nice wheels that and so
absolutely.
I just do it just to mix up that bike, because like the other wheels I've got completely fine. Like I built them for that frame, and they like complete the picture. But I don't know, it's nice to splash out and change the look a little bit.
It's nice to have nice things,
Exactly.
You don't have to be consumeristic about it. It's not always just about the money, as you said. Like you come into these things, and it's like, when you're at a point where you're like, oh, I don't want to leave it on the street anymore. Like,
exactly.
Maybe you've overshot, but
with that bike, like when I initially bought it, I built it like completely as budget friendly as I possibly could. This is my Dust Aventa back in the day, which for the last like year was hanging up on the wall, and now it's gone. But I bought that just because I walked into JRI years ago and saw it hanging up above the door, and I was like, I'm gonna buy that one day.
Yeah.
And then I got a job at JRI and I bought it at a discounted price, so it was great.
Oh, that's fucking excellent.
And so built it up, ran it in a number of different iterations, and there's remnants all over the shop of like those iterations, like the assembly tri-spoke on the wall over there.
Really?
I bought for that frame. Actually, originally I bought it for a different frame, but I sort of held on to it, and you riff these different ideas, and
and like sometimes you got to live it as well. Like
exactly.
You actually have to. Again, I feel like I'm speaking from a position of privilege to say it, but you've got to like put that dream together. Sometimes you've got to actually like execute it to see if it's what you think it's going to be. Because there's no point idolizing these like crazy builds or crazy frames or anything. If you get on it and you're like, oh, this sucks ass, you
give it a go, and
just
then you'll
suit frame.
then you'll
maybe
find
not
out.
For me.
Maybe not. Yeah, that's true.
But you need to do it. You need to find out. It's a fucking cliche, but it's too short to ride shit bikes.
That's it. There's a sticker of it somewhere.
So someone says.
Yeah, I need to get some of those stickers, and if not, I need to make them, because it's a good ethos to live by.
It's a good adage.
Yeah. But no, I was thinking about the discussions that we had yesterday while I was recording, and I figured of all people, I mean, to be fair, I didn't know that you'd been, maybe you mentioned it to me, but I didn't know you'd been riding fixed for as long as you had. But I wanted to get your opinion on different styles of handlebar.
Oh yeah, hot topic.
Yeah, hot topic. A hot take that was presented to me by none other than Ed from an episode a couple of weeks back. He is a big fan and promoter of bullhorn bars. Says they are superior to all other style bars. And he's well within his right to have that opinion. I personally used to run bullhorns back in the day on a number of my bikes. Yeah. And I can see the benefit of them. But I want to hear your take.
Yeah.
You went from.
I'm trying to think.
You previously on your leader, you had the sort of wide flat bars. Yeah. And then it was a pretty sharp shift to, aero drop bars.
Yeah, I had track drops on it for a while as well, which I like. Way back in the day, I ran for ages just because I was like, yeah, track drops.
That's what you did.
For anyone who hasn't ridden track drops, they suck.
They do suck.
They suck so bad.
Unless you're riding on the track, they are not practical.
They're just really not nice. But they do look pretty sick.
They do.
You got to give it to that.
You do have to have the right frame for it, though.
Sure. Yeah. It's all got to come together.
Like, you can't have track drops. I mean, I've seen some people come through the shop with track drops on like a road bike with brake levers, and there's no practical place to put.
That ain't it.
It's not the move. But that's a discussion for another time.
Absolutely. No, I'm just trying to think of my sort of handlebar history here. I have had bullhorns for a brief period, and I really wasn't stoked on them. I think I find, obviously you can get narrow ones, but I just find the extended wide grip of the sort of
that kind of end.
Horizontal or
the horns,
the outwards, the horn. Yeah. I just find that leaves me feeling a bit like splayed. I don't know. I've been riding road bars for a while now, and as it's been pointed out to me, they might be a little bit wide, but I think I don't know. Yeah. I just find that a nice position.
That's fair. And again, it's like calling back to it, it's not necessarily the most practical option. Like, on paper, the drop bars that I run are too wide, but the bike I'm riding is not on paper a practical bike.
No, well, this is my thing as well. It's kind of like everything on my fucking bike, apart from tires and driveline, are all fucking secondhand. Like, this is stuff you can find. Mm-hmm. So you have to be a little bit flexible about it, and you have to be a bit willing to give stuff a try and to like let yourself bed into it a bit as well.
Exactly.
It doesn't have to be perfect. Get used to stuff.
Yeah. Do you think there's any other facets of cycling that has that kind of attitude or a means, or is this like a I guess a discerning feature of fixed gear and track riding as a whole?
Yeah, shit. I mean, like, it's an attitude, right? It's an attitude to dealing with stuff and to like making things work. And I think there's a big element in that fixed gear, because I guess traditionally it's sort of a bit more slapped together, the image of the old courier track frame or whatever, which is all a bit spare parts and a bit how you're going, which is sick. I adore all of those bikes. I think that lends itself a little bit to making, make do with what you got type of thing. Yeah. Which is a good attitude to have. As you said, like, your bike doesn't have to be made to fit to be comfortable to ride or to be good for you.
Yeah.
You
can make it work.
Shitloads of people have frames that are too big or too small or too long or too whatever.
Absolutely.
But like, I don't know. There's a lot of margin within that stuff as well.
Yeah.
I think there's maybe a view that, if you get a bike fit, they're going to measure it to the millimetre and all that stuff. But it's not. There's so much tolerance within all these fit things, because everyone's body is so different. So
exactly. There's no one size fits all.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
but fixed gear stuff, I think, is probably more
forgiving.
Yeah.
More forgiving, more expressive. You can
100%.
Have fun with it.
Yeah.
Which is always nice. Yeah, that's kind of what I've noticed as well. Like, my first fixed gear was a 56 centimeter. It was like a cell bike, like an old.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It was the bike from like the cover photo of the podcast is after I've done some modifications to it with my first one, and it was called a Cell Stinger, I think. And it was black and gold.
Ooh, tough.
Black frame, like the gold anodized rims, the DP rims that weigh a ton.
Oh yeah.
And like gold seat post, but it was like slammed, so you couldn't see any of it. Gold handlebars and stem, which were like,
cool. Yeah,
man. I rode that thing into the ground, literally, and had some good adventures with it. But and I kind of got the bug and bought another bike, and the freewheel exploded and discovered fixed gear proper. So it was a whole thing.
There you go.
But you're not originally from Melbourne, right?
I mean, like, I technically, I guess so. I was born in London, but we moved here when I was like 2 years old or something, and I've been in Melbourne my whole life since. So
yeah, right.
I'll claim it.
Yep. Claim it, Melburnian.
Yeah, I think so.
Hell
I've still got the UK passport, but
it is a handy thing to have.
It used to be a lot handier.
It used to be way handier.
Thanks,
yeah.
Boris.
Yeah.
That's all right.
That's all right.
But no, for all the purposes,
All intents and purposes,
yeah.
yes. Okay. Cool. And were you a part of the Fixed Gear Melbourne group for the time you were riding, or was that also a recent discovery?
No, that's the last couple of years.
Okay.
So I started riding fixed in high school. I basically have always ridden bikes to school. Did it in primary school, did it through high school, and then I think probably 15 or 16, probably close to 16. Actually, credit where credit's due, my younger brother sort of discovered fixed gears online.
Oh, nice! Like through forums and stuff.
Well, yeah, I guess so. Like
that's how they used to do it. Yeah.
This is early fucking internet days. This is like 2009 maybe.
Yeah.
2008, maybe even earlier. Anyway, I had other friends who rode to school too, and we all kind of like got really into it. So we all found fucking hard rubbish 10-speed road bikes,
frames, and converted them. Hell
with the cheapest, most disgusting eBay wheels you could find. And, did all like all the just tragic comic mistakes that everyone does. Cut your chain too short.
Exactly.
Forget to like tighten up your crank bolts before you leave home, and lose a crank on the way to school.
Yep.
But it was fun as hell.
Nice.
They were really good times.
Cool.
But yeah, I had a couple of friends who were just a bit more dedicated than I was, and who, I think there used to be a Thursday night ride way back in that day. They left from Fed Square.
Yes. Yes, there was. I forget what subsect of that group it was, but I remember seeing a Thursday night ride roll out, because I used to just ride around town, and I'd see these big groups of people, not only on bikes but on there were rollerbladers and skaters and stuff. So I think there's a bunch of different groups that get together.
I don't know if it was Fixed Gear Melbourne or whatever, but that was a ride that some friends of mine went to.
Yeah, cool.
I went to one, got absolutely just because my ride to school was like fucking 10 or 15 minutes. Like it was not a big commute.
Far. Yeah.
So my fitness was just like not great. We went on this ride, and I think I remember we went through the Bully, and then they got on that bike path that follows down the freeway.
Yep.
And we were just like fucking kids, so we'd never ridden the boulevard before, up to that point. So we were like, whoa, this is great. And we were like going pell-mell.
Yeah.
And then we got to the end and we're like, wow, we completely exhausted. And they're like, no, that was like the first 10% of the ride. And we're
still got the ride to do.
And it absolutely killed us.
It's a hard learning curve.
Learned the lesson, yeah.
But it's okay. That's why that's why we've got the beginner friendly Monday night rides now.
First Monday of the month.
First Monday of every month.
That'll be this coming
Monday, technically tomorrow. I guess when this comes out last week, I think. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm losing track.
Let's not commit to scheduling. It's
exactly. I mean, that's kind of the thing. Having having as much backlogged audio as I do, I can commit to scheduling. So this one should be minimal editing. I think
good.
There's no big gaps or anything like that.
No. You just got to slide in the MeUndies ad breaks. And
exactly. Yeah. If only I had that any sponsorship deals, that'd be great. Alas, no, it's okay. We're doing it.
Yeah.
Doing it old school until someone discovers us. I mean, we've already kind of got a Catfish sponsorship. That's kind of fun.
Hey, that's huge! Shout out to Catfish. Shout out to Philly cheesesteaks. Doing sparrows.
That. Yeah. That was I think out of necessity.
Would have been uproar.
It would have been. I mean, from what I heard, there was uproar.
I'm glad there was.
I heard about it, and I was camping in a field in Tasmania. I got a text being like,
make some calls.
Monday night specials off. I was like, exactly what I'm doing when I get back.
It's always good to see a bit of community action come through.
Exactly.
Fighting a corporate bureaucracy.
It's good, but yeah, I think that the crew's been going there for years. I keep on thinking whether or not it's something that sort of started, because Catfish has been where it is or has existed for about 10 years, right?
Oh, at least,
Yeah, I think they had their
institution.
because they had like a celebration of some sort, like maybe last year before, where it was like a 10 year anniversary. Like
Yeah, I think you're right. The birthday last
staff have got like shirts that say 10 years, and so I'm assuming that's what it is. I think Alex and Jacob and a couple others and I went up. That was when Alex got his catfish tattoo, because they had a tattooist upstairs, I believe.
Have one. That's excellent.
And they had a bunch of like flash designs which were like catfish themed. So it was
That's very good.
Alex's one for reference is a silhouette of a cat with a fish skeleton head.
Interpretive.
It's really it's and there's a few of us have them. I didn't get one, but I maybe should have done. That would have been fun. Good.
Next 10 years.
Next 10 years, exactly. So, but that was fun. And I'm not sure. Not sure if it was that 10 years of them being where they are, or like maybe the management. I don't know. I've heard multiple stories, and I'm not prepared to commit to any of them as gospel truth.
As you shouldn't.
Exactly. Stay skeptical of everything. Or something like that. I don't know. It's how I live my life most of the time.
That's the way.
But there have been a couple of races you've been involved in.
Yeah, shit.
Any sort of I guess highlights or lowlights or hard lessons, stuff like that.
Hard lessons.
I don't know.
I've got I don't know if this is embarrassing or not. I have a notes app on my phone dedicated to alleycat lessons.
Oh really?
Oh yeah.
Oh, this is perfect.
Oh, you fucking kidding me, man?
Hell
Absolutely.
I didn't even need a plan today. Sick.
No. Oh, I guess I can get. I was looking through. I was trying to find the alleycats I've done this year. We obviously had Max's analog most recently, which was fantastic.
Great
really
success.
Cool idea. Great success. What were the pickups? The positives from that? I think the 15k course, like 15 to 20, is perfect. It's really welcoming for people. Having it central makes it really easy to know where stuff is. Yeah. And it means you can just go like pretty ham. You don't have to sort of pace yourself too much, which is fun.
That's it.
Sprint races are fun.
Yeah. There was nothing outside of the what I would describe as metropolitan Melbourne.
No. Like it was a very tight fringe of the CBD, which was sick. Mm-hmm. Loved the map thing. The map thing was great.
Map thing was good.
It's really cool. Wish I'd known the clues were on the back, so that's on me.
That was a recurring bit of feedback that I overheard multiple times.
But that's also just being stupid, so I don't know if you can blame anyone.
No,
I've got March 9th? Oh, that
March
was 9th. That ended at Edinburgh Gardens.
That was my one.
Yeah, which one was that?
That was On Lock.
That was the On Lock!
Yeah.
Another really cool idea. Thought that was sick with the combos and the padlocks.
Had some technical issues.
Had some small technical issues.
Hardware problems.
Which prevented me from finishing, but it was a great day all the same.
Absolutely.
And again, really, really sick concept. I like the diverging paths, having the two lock locations. That was very cool.
Good way to break it up.
100%.
Yeah.
And it's cool when everyone comes back and it's like, oh, you went that way? Whoa, I didn't even know.
Exactly. That was my end goal, was to force everyone to take a different route.
Have a slightly different route.
Which took a lot more work than it was probably worth. Getting all those locks. There are still locks out there that I haven't gone to collect. I'll do it eventually.
No, for sure.
But hey, if you want a free pair of locks, there's one at either end of Curtin Square in Carlton.
Go get them.
Yeah, exactly. Go and get them, or come to see me and I'll give you the keys for them.
They were my two alleycats I've done so far this year. I don't have any in the calendar. I might have done more. I can't remember.
There haven't been any others this year so far.
Yeah.
There's been Sips and Circles, although I don't think we can really call that. I mean, I haven't categorized it as an alley cat.
But it's not. It was never meant to be an alley cat. It was
definitely an event. It was a good time.
It was an event with some riding and some racing.
Absolutely.
A great day
and some testing of limits.
That's it. That's it.
It was a great time. I think Jordy did very well.
Yeah, he did, and he was trying to do something different. He wanted like a fresh take on it, and he had an idea for it. it was cool.
Yeah, sure.
It was a good one. No, I came cycling back. I came, I think, 5th in the analog, which I was pretty stoked on because that was the first 2 were messengers on road bikes.
Yes.
And no disrespect to anyone turning up with a road bike to a alleycat, but also a little bit of disrespect to anyone turning up to an alleycat on a road bike. You know who you are.
You have a few of those events where like anyone can show up on anything.
Well, like it's good that they're open. Like turn up, that's great. Get the numbers.
Exactly.
But the point that I'm getting to is that our good friend Scott came 4th.
Yep, he did very
Excellent
well.
effort, and I came behind him. So I was the second fixed gear, which I was pretty happy with.
Nice.
All that said, did get beaten by a teenager on a kick scooter who absolutely fucking slayed Felix.
That was Max's brother.
Fucking sick. Yeah, man. Just got owned.
It was
got owned.
It was a great time. Really good turnout, and
that was cool. But yeah, good race.
Very indicative of Max's alleycats because he ran one last year, like the alley cat with the cat in capitals.
That's right.
Emphasis.
Cat posters.
Yeah, looking for cats. Not the posters, but the street art.
Yeah.
I did one with cats on posters, but it's a theme that gets overused, so we don't do it anymore.
Yeah, unfortunately, the cat in the name.
But we had that one was really good. The time limit I think was a good addition.
Yeah, it's obviously very stressful, but it's a cool element. Having to do the trade-off of like making extra checkpoints, but also being bad.
Exactly, and having different point values attached to each of them was pretty good.
It's very cool. It's balancing having like intricacy in the race design to then also having like readability and usability, I guess.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All it really is it's a balance of ease of like understanding and I guess enjoyment, like reward.
Yeah.
That's the case with everything, though. But
common thing. Would you like to hear some alleycat tips?
Absolutely, I would love to.
Okay, hot off the press. I haven't read these in a while, so I hope they're not weird.
That's okay. If they're bad, we can cut them.
Tip 1: put all checkpoints into map as stops.
That's a good point.
And I think that's meant to be instead of like each checkpoint having to pull out your phone and reroute yourself. Just
get
like
everything
in
one
and then
figure it out from
looking
there.
at it.
Lovely.
But I will follow up. Well, actually, no, I won't, because I think there's another one coming. Second tip: don't over rely on phone. Use head/eyes.
There you go. That's potentially a little secret message.
And that's what I was actually about to remind myself. Is that the biggest fuck ups I've done in alleycats is over relying on the map or like becoming completely obsessed with what your manifest says.
Absolutely.
And it's like, Jesus Christ, like if you're at the state library or something, the checkpoint's probably not on the back door, it's probably on the front, on the steps. You know, it's just like, use your goddamn noggin.
Exactly, right?
A little bit.
Yeah.
Tip number 3, routing matters. In brackets, did plus 4K at Callum's.
That's true. Callum's birthday alleycat, the recent one, the phone booth one.
No, I think it was actually the one
before,
from last year.
The one that you won. The one.
The recent one.
He's done, I think, 2.
He has done 2.
And the first one, I followed you.
That's right.
And you won.
And I did
and
win
you
that.
won, which was great.
So it wasn't that one. It was
the phone booth one, which I followed you for that one as well.
That's right. No, I think I was comparing maps with Max or someone else, and they had done like over 4K less than I had, and I was like, holy shit, man! Like
there were a lot of.
That's ridiculous.
There were a lot of slightly misleading checkpoint locations there. This was an alleycat that relied on the registration or serial numbers of phone booths around. Telstra phone booths.
Great idea, very cool, but just like.
And it was big as well. It was a big one.
big day.
Like I ended up calling it after I think the first couple of manifests, partially because my camera had, I think, run out of either battery or card space. Is something that I've fixed because I bought a new camera. But and then also it was getting dark, so I was like,
it was just a long day. I was stoked with that. I didn't win or anything, but I was like one of the like three or four people who finished.
Did the
so
whole
I was
thing.
pretty
Yeah.
pretty stoked on that. Anyway, routing matters because man, it's like even if you can out sprint someone, if they're riding at half your speed and just like not taking stupid routes around stuff,
they're gonna
obviously. Tip number 4: breathe. Think.
Breathing's important.
Breathe and think.
Breathe and think. I love that. Very zen.
Yeah.
Someone should put that on a shirt.
Talking to Scott about this after the most recent one, and he said the same thing. Like because we do all these like Le Mans starts where you're running across the field to grab the bike and look at the manifest, and every single time someone grabs the manifest, scans it for half a second and gets on their bike and starts riding. And everyone else starts panicking and gets on their bike and starts riding.
Yep.
And Scott said that's what happened. Like he started following someone and a group of people started following him, and he didn't really have any
had no
solid
bearings
plan or anything. So just ignore everyone else dicking around at the start.
Yeah, and do your own
Read the
thing.
fucking map.
That's what
read the clues.
That's what Ramsey does, I think. That's why.
Yeah, well, that's why he's a great racer.
He does that.
Take your time.
Absolutely.
Hot tip number 5: if they're using QR codes, download a QR reader.
Code reader. I have a QR code reader on my phone, which is mainly because my phone camera doesn't do that. And so I had that already.
I think the larger lesson there is if you know something is coming ahead of time, prepare for it.
Yeah.
takes 6 seconds to search something in the App Store and download it.
Exactly, that's it. No, it's
anyway, That was
fun. That was for the annual from last year.
Was that the annual?
Yeah. QR codes, five checkpoints.
Which excellent idea. Really, really good way to do checkpointing, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But I think more than a few people had issues reading QR codes on the paper's a bit bent.
Paper's wrapped around a street pole or something. Yeah, it was tricky. I have one of the QR code posters for the last one.
Oh yeah.
I went back and took it. Don't know why, but just for reference, reference and heritage and posterity, aren't they?
Good to have a souvenir. Final tip, which I think is a rehash, but memory beats maps, especially bike routing, and in brackets car route equals way quicker than bike route.
Those are both good points. I have heard a lot from folks who have done an alleycat and been helped in their routing and route choices by coming on certain Monday night rides or group rides.
100%.
So doing that and the variety that brings is helpful for them. And I save all the routes, at least all the routes that I've planned. I don't do it as much anymore, which is good. It's nice to have the spare time and bandwidth. But yeah, I've got a year plus of routes that I've got saved on Komoot that I can reference and other people can reference too.
That's great.
For group rides they want to lead.
And it's not a exclusivity thing. It's not come to Monday night so you can learn.
So you can learn the way to go when it's a race.
And if you don't, you're going to lose.
It's all just social ride.
It's just social ride, and it's also just that maybe it's to do with Melbourne being a grid. Maybe it's not, but there are just a handful of very common, not just checkpoint locations, but kind of intersections, I guess, in the city and certain routes.
There are easier ways to go around the city. Yeah, for sure.
And I think a really good example is that that stop down Docklands at the end of
Latrobe Street.
Latrobe Street, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's not really a location. It's not really a big. There's no statue.
There's
there.
Nothing notable there.
It's not an iconic point.
No.
But it's a really, really common stopping point on a Monday night route because it lets you collect everyone and like move on to the next
Exactly.
spot.
It's the first regroup point in a tourist loop.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, it also happens to be like a fairly common alleycat checkpoint because it's on like the western side of the CBD.
Exactly. And
So-
it's quite scenic as well. It's quite
Yeah,
nice.
it's a good spot. It's out of the way.
Mhm.
That's just an example, but there's a bunch more that like, yeah, it's. I mean, it's stupid, but like, you do more riding and you get better at riding. You know, like,
What?
yeah, it's crazy to think about. But yeah,
I never thought.
you
Never thought I'd see
keep
the
coming
day.
back and you get a little bit better every time.
Exactly. No. Very, very true. Very valid points.
Yep.
Awesome. I love that you wrote those all down.
Big note taker.
That's. I mean, that's good. You know, I have a note app that I probably neglect, but I also have a notepad, a physical notepad that I write stuff down in. So
yeah, I
it's
do.
good.
I do as well. I do mostly digital now, but you just got to get it out sometimes. You know, you drive yourself in circles just going over the shit in your head over and over again. So.
Exactly. I did. I didn't write it down, but I did take a note of something that I had observed and experienced, which I was going to bring up on a podcast episode, and it might as well be this one because
There you go.
I have a feeling you'll appreciate it. We had so every Wednesday we have after work beers in Edinburgh Gardens.
Beautiful.
In the summer, I mean now it's not daylight savings or it is daylight savings. I'm not sure which side of the coin we're on. I think it is daylight savings because it's lighter earlier.
Well, we got
now.
we got the hour back,
Yeah,
but doesn't that mean it will get dark? No,
it gets dark earlier.
but that's just winter in general.
Yeah. Anyway,
Oh, I don't. Anyway.
so long. Yeah, we're at this point. So the other week we were in Edinburgh Gardens hanging out, having beers, and this I noticed there's a few little groups, hanging out. It's a good spot to sit and have a beer and watch the sunset. Beautiful.
Absolutely.
And there's this woman walking around from group to group, asking them something and then being passed on somewhere else. And I was like, I bet if you see something like that, they're more often than not looking for a cigarette or a lighter or a paper or some
Standard.
standard thing like that. Not the case with this one.
Okay.
Because she came up to us, and what do you think she asked for?
A couple of bucks for the train ticket.
No, she was a
Well-to-do.
well dressed, well-to-do woman.
What was she asking for?
She was asking for a corkscrew. And I just thought
The
that
absolute
is
state of Edinburgh
is
Gardens in 2025.
fantastic. I
That's
just
quite
thought
funny.
there's
Times have changed.
there is
my
times have changed. We are truly back in the roaring 20s for sure. But I just thought that is fantastic. I gotta make a note of that, and so I did. Made a little audio note to myself.
So funny. Brought our nice orange wine to the park and
That's it, yeah, and
left my screwdriver at home.
left the corkscrew. But I mean, it's one thing that you see less and less of, which is fair. But most Swiss Army knives, I think, still have a corkscrew attachment.
Yeah, sure, that's a pretty standard.
Anyone who works in a bar or a bar adjacent job has like a waiter's friend that has a corkscrew on it. So it's like, I don't know. I just thought that was fun. A fun little tidbit.
That's pretty good.
To tack on to the end of Henry's alleycat pointers.
That's it.
And stuff that you take note of as well.
That's it. Always carry a screwdriver.
Always carry a corkscrew.
Corkscrew.
Exactly.
Oops.
You never know. You never know who you're going to encounter. Maybe they'll need a corkscrew.
Pretty funny though. Like if you saw someone, I do it myself, but you've got your carabiner of keys.
Got your keys, yep.
Just see someone with their like wine.
That's it. Yeah, right.
Corkscrew on it.
That's it.
That would be pretty funny.
It's good. Yeah.
Yeah, good.
Man.
Drink your wine.
Yeah, exactly. Drink your wine. It's in a cork bottle. It's usually pretty good.
Pretty good.
Unless it's got like cork taint in it and stuff.
Yeah, aren't you? Isn't it?
It's a whole thing. A lot of companies are doing like synthetic corks now. But
Oh, is that right? Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, there's some shit talking about whatever. I don't care.
Exactly. Yeah. Don't engage with it too much. So
No, that's it.
yeah. We've very effortlessly spoken for quite a while.
Yeah, I was like, I'm going to be out of here in 25 minutes, man.
That's all right. That's all right. We'll
No.
We'll wrap it up because I was to be honest not sure how this would go. But it's gone swimmingly, I think.
Historically not a great talker, but a couple of beers
and couple of beers and the right questions, and it's worked out. So we'll wrap up. I don't really have a follow-up question. We usually do like a question for the previous guest. That's the next one.
That's a good one. Yeah.
It was really the one that I was gonna present to you as part of the group was gonna be something along the lines of like what informs your riding style.
Ooh.
And is there any sort of development or progression in the future that you know of?
Gnarly riding style.
I feel like we covered it pretty well with the process of like building a bike and why we do it, just because it's fun and it expresses what we like to do.
Yeah.
You've got the super fancy super aero carbon track bike, and you rocked up on your 26er with questionable origins.
Yeah.
But it's a great bike. They're both great bikes. They're both red, so it matches.
Yep.
But yeah, if you've got any insights into that.
That's a great question. Riding style, I mean, in my mind, that's sort of like on bike. This is kind of stupid, but like ages ago, like when I used to ride to school, like I used to have to go through Rushall Underpass, and familiar with it, obviously.
We go through on Monday nights every now and then.
And at one point, I was just like, because it's, the hills are quite steep, but they're quite short as well.
Yes.
So I think like one morning or something, I was like, I wonder if I can do this without getting out of the saddle.
Oh, yeah.
Like just to see if I could. And it fucking sucked. And I fell off the first time I tried to do it. But that's just like something that's stuck with me for a really long time. Like in terms of riding style, I just like make a point to try not to get out of the saddle, I guess.
That's a good point. I don't think I've ever seen you unless you're sprinting.
Even
when you are sprinting, sometimes you stay in the saddle.
Time and a place. That's just like a weird, stupid thing that I do sometimes.
That's right.
That's, I don't know, I think it's like good to... I don't know.
You just have
in certain
little personal challenges, and then like you see it integrates itself into like how you conduct your rides and stuff.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, lovely. So, that's right.
Yeah.
I'm much the same. I had the same thing when I started out. I was living in Malvern East, and I was riding to Fairfield every day for work. And one of the things I tried to do was because I took my brakes off before I discovered foot retention.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Okay.
One of my challenges to myself was to make it down the hill past East Richmond Station without dying, and or like without having to like bail out, stuff like that. And like whether I could slow down enough to either take the corner through the red light or slow down enough to stop. All that sort of stuff. It was progressive. Yeah. And so there were a few little challenges like that that I applied to myself.
No, it's how you become a better rider, and it's like we didn't really cover it, but like the whole brakeless fix thing in general, right? Like
that's it. Yeah.
You don't. I mean, I'm sure some people do, but you don't wake up one morning and go like, I'm suddenly going to change my riding habits significantly and no longer rely on a brake.
Exactly. It's usually more progressive than that.
Yeah, that's something that you've got to build up to. You've got to use it less and less, and that's in itself is kind of like a dumb personal challenge. And
yeah, that's right.
That's how you get there. You earn it.
Fun. Yeah. But no. Cool. Do you have any questions that you want to pass on to the next guest? Who at the moment I have no idea who they're going to be.
Whoever they could be. Not really. Maybe tyre size. I'm sure you've covered that before.
Tyre size? We haven't covered tyre size, but like maybe what your attitude towards tyre like size and choice.
Yeah, well, is. It's going to be hugely dependent on who you pick actually, because like I feel like maybe popular opinion is everyone's going wider. Fat tires sort of like the thing now, but there's definitely still like a few stalwarts who are like hanging out on the thinner tires.
Yeah, for sure.
I am myself. I'm Shogun's not a good example, but Anchor's got 25s on it,
Yep.
and I don't know, man.
Works fine.
Fat tires are so fucking slow. Holy shit! I get it. You've got more cushion, but
It's true.
it's just
Yeah.
fucking slow. Man.
I found a pretty
Feels
happy.
heavy. Yeah.
I found a pretty happy medium with the Vendetta with 32s. That's not bad. But the smallest I've got is, I mean, on the 14 it's got 25s, but
Sure.
the smallest I've got is that I ride regularly is 28s.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Also talking a lot of shit. Don't have a lot of experience. It looks, there are days when you are extremely jealous of the guy with the 40s.
Exactly, just cruising along, going over
Just cruising
everything.
along, not thinking about anything, not
Yeah.
like
That's
vibrating his whole body to
No.
pieces.
No,
It does look very nice, but yeah, man,
Yeah, that's
just
right.
like straight line speed on some narrow tires.
it is
Nothing better.
It is
Nothing better.
It is a pleasure to ride on big tires over bumpy things. I like it.
Absolutely.
Cool. I reckon we'll call it there.
Yeah.
There are things that we could discuss, but
Nah.
we might pencil in another time to record. Especially
Sure.
now I know how well the back and forth goes,
So there you go.
and I've found my new kind of flow and jam and
You're good. Oh,
how it works.
it was good, very good, very painless.
Absolutely. No, thank you for joining.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
We'll do the standard little outro.
Yeah.
Do you want me to shout out your Instagram or anything like that?
I don't really use it.
No,
That's all right.
that's cool. That's all right.
It's fine.
That's fine.
VB&T on
VB&T.
Instagram.
Thank you very much for joining me for this installment of Prime Ratio. I've been Felix. I've been joined by Henry. The banter has been remarkable, I think, and yeah, I'll probably split off the alleycat top tips as a little separate recording. I think that could be fun.
Yeah.
I may just add it in. It might just be along and
Sure,
and
you can-
smooth,
You can have that one.
smoothly progressive. Something I don't know.
Leave it to you.
But no, if you have any questions, queries, hot takes, and genuinely anything else, feel free to send it through to us either by email at ridebikesandbemerry@gmail.com or DM us on Instagram at Melbourne Alleycat. That's MELBURN Alleycat. As always, ride bikes, be merry. We're going to go and I'm going to dive into a bunch of editing, and you've got other stuff that you need to do.
Yep.
Quite possibly. But yeah, happy Sunday, and we will hopefully be back with Henry soon. Because one thing I wanted to touch on is happening in a couple of weeks, so we might be able to figure that out.
Teaser.
Teaser, little foreshadowing maybe